Are you selling your home? Brace yourself, because a private home inspection could completely derail your sale. In today's video, I'll break down how you can avoid losing thousands of dollars. This video could be the difference between a smooth sale and a total disaster. So let's get started right now. In a real estate purchase, a contingency is a clause that specifies a condition or action that must be met before the contract becomes legally binding, allowing either party to back out if the condition isn't met. Common contingencies include financing contingency, and that means that the buyer needs to have the ability to and obtain a mortgage. An inspection. This means that the buyer has the right to have a private, independent, professional inspection done. The appraisal. The property must appraise for at least the agreed upon purchase price. Sometimes they add a sale of an existing home contingency. This happens when a buyer needs to sell their current home before purchasing a new one. Certain conditions must be met before it can proceed. What is the purpose of a contingency? If a contingency isn't met, the party who is responsible for satisfying that contingency, in this case, that's the buyer, can choose to back out of the contract without penalty and get the earnest money deposit back. Earnest money is a deposit made to the buyer's agent's brokerage account. We call it holding it in escrow, and it's held to show that the buyer is serious about the purchase of the house and will not walk away for no reason. And the contingencies act as an escape clause, allowing the buyer or the seller to cancel the agreement. If the sale is canceled, the seller should sign off on returning the earnest money deposit to the buyer. So what exactly is a private home inspection and how does it work? Sometime within the first 10 days or so after a seller accepts the purchase agreement, the buyer will hire a licensed home inspector to evaluate every inch of the property. They're looking for structural issues, outdated electrical systems, plumbing leaks, foundation cracks, roof problems, you name it. But here's the kicker about inspections. The seller does not attend the inspection. The buyer's agent will be there with the buyer. This is because the buyer needs to be able to speak freely and have access to all the mechanicals and spaces in the home. It's much easier for the seller to open the attic, crawl space, or basement and clear a space in front of the hot water heater, the furnace, outside around the air conditioner, near the air cleaner or dehumidifier if you have one on the furnace. You can put a new filter in the furnace and leave a note explaining where everything is and the last time that it was cleaned and serviced, as well as a receipt if you have it. The inspector is working to protect the buyer's interest, and the report can heavily influence whether the deal moves forward or completely falls apart. And I highly suggest you be as transparent as possible. The inspection process usually takes just one day, 4 hours or so, but it can take several days. They can request times to do separate sewer inspections, pest inspections, radon, foundation, roof, pool inspections. Normal inspectors do not usually do anything with the pool or the fireplace. So both of those may need to have separate inspections done. Mold inspections during the inspection time can also take a little bit of time because sometimes the mold inspection has to be sent out someplace and then be sent back. Buyers can request these things be done if the private home inspector finds an issue also. They may pay for the extra inspections or they may request that the seller do them. Remember, anything found on an inspection report and shared with the seller must be disclosed even if the buyer walks away from this deal. You need to change that disclosure because now you know about it. You were made aware. If the buyer chooses to walk away and does not disclose the reason, the seller obviously can't disclose something that was not shared with him. I never suggest using plausible deniability. I stress transparency, and it keeps everybody out of court. Home inspection is based on fact, And if a second inspection were to be done, the results would likely be very much the same. So this means if a buyer walks away due to the inspection, that problem will likely come up again in the next inspection. So I suggest repairing it.
Do it! Just do it!
By doing the right thing, the seller may save the sale to begin with and build trust with the buyer. I would never suggest a buyer not get an inspection. I would suggest to a buyer involved in a multiple offer situation that they make the inspection for informational purposes only, and the buyer agrees not to use the information on the inspection to renegotiate the price. Unless the total repairs on any major system are over a certain dollar amount. I would also list the systems that need to be repaired. I also recommend the buyer add a sewer system insurance to their homeowner's policy. I have this on my own house, and I think it costs me less than $30 every 6 months for $25,000 worth of coverage. Let me tell you, sewer problems underneath the house can cost a lot of money. It's worth the $30 every 6 months to me. A buyer can also ask or pay for a home warranty. A home warranty is less than $800 that can go a long way to build trust with a buyer. And this would cover repairs on the HVAC system, the hot water heater, as well as any appliances in the home. To a buyer, this can mean a lot of peace of mind. And if the home inspector finds an issue, don't panic. Both buyers and sellers have lots of options. A specialist should be brought in to inspect any of the issues that are found. As a buyer, remember, the homeowner may not even know about these issues. By doing these extra inspections as due diligence, the buyer has knowledge to move forward confidently. The buyer's agent is still protecting their client, and it gives new buyers a lot of peace of mind. As a seller, remember, home inspectors are important, but they do not know every system like a pro would. And I've seen many deals derailed or canceled by a buyer. The homeowner then sends in a specialist to check or fix the issue, and there's absolutely no issue. Don't take an inspector's word as gospel. Get a second opinion. In a 4-hour inspection, they can't correctly diagnose every single problem in a house. A good inspector will tell a buyer to get a second opinion, not insist they're right. Using an inspection as a renegotiation tactic is common, unfortunately. Buyers will do almost anything to get an offer accepted, but then they come back and push to get a reduction, replacement, repair, or credit for sometimes very minor issues. Top home inspection deal breakers are foundation cracks or structural damage, roof issues or leaks, outdated electrical or plumbing, mold or water damage, HVAC problems, and radon in the home. In our area, radon is hit or miss, but there are some cities that are much more likely to have radon, and a radon test is always a good idea. It takes a couple of days to do it, so they need a little bit of warning ahead of time. These are all big issues, not small things. And sometimes the way an inspector presents an issue can send a buyer running or lead to serious negotiations. I go to all my inspections with my buyers and I stay engaged. I ask questions for clarification because buyers don't even know that they can do that. Sometimes even a small thing like a burned out light bulb can cause an issue. An inspector doesn't usually have extra light bulbs. So when a light fixture doesn't come on, they check it as inoperable. And I've seen a lot of young home buyers get a panicked look on their face when someone says that some part of their electrical system is inoperable. If you just change the light bulb and the light comes on, it's no longer inoperable. And that can really alleviate panic. So how do you prevent your home sale from falling apart after an inspection? There are 3 key steps to take. Get a pre-listing inspection. I can't tell you how important this can be. Hiring your own inspector before the listing helps you identify and decide which major issues you want to fix before the buyers even step in the house. You may choose to disclose that you had that inspection done and that repairs were made, And you may want to actually share the report or the receipts for the repairs with your potential buyers. This is up to you. Make strategic repairs. So focus on big ticket concerns like roof issues, plumbing leaks, electrical hazards, that kind of thing. You and your agent can decide what repairs you want to do and if those repairs will increase the amount you walk away with. Remember, if your inspector finds it, the buyer's inspector most likely will find it too. The last thing is disclose honestly. If you know about an issue, be upfront about it. Buyers appreciate transparency, and it can prevent last-minute problems. So here's a little story. A buyer of mine had a cute house under contract, and the seller's disclosure said there was never any water intrusion in the basement. After the inspection was done, we went outside to look around the backyard one more time, and the neighbor was outside. They got to talking with the buyer, and the buyer said that the basement was so nicely done. That was her favorite part of the house. And the neighbor said, yeah, it was pretty new too. She knew that because when the flood happened in 2014, there was some damage, and the insurance company paid to have it redone. I could see the look of surprise on my buyer's face and also a bit of anger. The buyer called me that night and said as much as she loved that house, the lie about the water in the basement made her wonder what else they had lied about. So she walked away. Trust is a very fragile thing. Be truthful and be transparent. Okay. So let's say the buyer's inspection report comes back with a list of repairs. Don't panic. Here's how to handle it. Review the report objectively. Not every issue is a big deal, and some are just aging concerns. Negotiate smartly. Focus on major, legitimate repairs and don't agree to fix any minor cosmetic issues. Offer a credit instead of doing the repairs yourself. This can keep the deal moving without you having to do any last-minute work and delaying the closing. A home inspection doesn't have to kill your sale. With preparation and smart negotiations, you can keep control of the process and protect your bottom line. I recently did a video about appraisals too, and you may want to check that one out. If any of this was helpful, please drop a question in the comments below, and I'll see you on the next video.